My heart pumping all day long, getting me to morning when darkness comes. My heart, ooh. It takes so long to mend. It's harder to lean on this shell of a man. You found love in the Lord, your family and your friends. Could you please pray for me that I can find the same within? My heart pumping all day long. When the evening comes, please stay strong. Give me the morning when darkness falls. My heart, I found victory in the Father's love from the day we wed. And those vows still hold true. Nothing's gonna tear me down until the damn end. My heart belongs to you. I'm gonna pick my bones up and walk through the storm I made. I'm gonna head on home before it gets too late. I turn it upside down and be thankful for what he gave. I'm gonna pick my bones up and walk through the storm I made. I'm gonna hold on tight to you when it gets rough. I'm gonna lay down all my cards and call your bluff. Because the one thing in this moonlit room I trust is the beauty of your smile and the warmth inside your touch. Oh, there's nothing like a love, nothing like a love of a woman. The way she holds you tight, way she holds you Gonna pick my bones up and walk through the storm I made. I'm gonna head on home before it gets too late. I turn it upside down and be thankful for what he gave. I'm gonna pick my bones up and walk through the storm I made. I'm gonna hold on tight to you when it gets rough. Yeah. I'm gonna lay down all my cards and call your bluff. Because the one thing in this moonlit room I trust, yeah, it's the beauty of your smile and the warmth inside your touch. Oh, there's nothing like love of a woman. The way she holds you tight, when you need it most. It gives you just that little bit, just to keep on living. And that's when you find out what you're made of. That's when you find out. That's when you find out what you're made of. My heart is like a lighthouse.
Can you hear
just
me?
Trying to get you home. Your soul is like an anchor, just dragging you along. Pay no mind to what I'm saying. I've been drinking all day long. I just wanna hold you while we dance to this song. We were younger when we first laid eyes. I was walking up in heaven's skies. How about you? Did you feel it too? Don't believe in love at first sight. Now you make me wanna change my mind. How about you? Oh, how about you? My heart is like a lighthouse, just trying to get you home. Your soul is like an anchor, dragging you along. Pay no mind to what I say. I've been drinking all day long. I just wanna hold you while we dance to this song. home. Your soul is like an anchor, just dragging you along. Pay no mind to what I say. I've been drinking all day long. I just wanna hold you while we dance to this song. I just wanna hold you, just wanna hold you while we dance to this song. It's always at my back. My back is always strapped with these things that I call my own. Life, it isn't always grand, but when you finally take that stand, you become a man. You needed to You meant everything to me. While you left, I could not see. I guess people just do what they want. Yeah. Time, it goes faster every day, and my heart, it leads the way, while the future, it fades into a memory. Is always at my back. My back is always strapped with these things that I call my own.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think, and this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
As the world watches and listens in horror, the peaceful pro-democracy demonstration in China comes to a violent and bloody end.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Wolves hiding nearby, whispering do or die around me. You say your last good night while I get
There is another very important phase of warfare. It has as its target not the body, but the mind of the enemy.
The target of psychological warfare is against the enemy's mind.
It is words and ideas.
The ammunition used by Psywar.
Its mission is to influence the thoughts of the enemy soldier, and at the same time
is expected and encouraged to study foreign languages and the social sciences such as history, economics, and sociology. He must have a broad and sympathetic understanding of all phases of human experience.
gripping at my skin, the walls of night closing.
But the use of this force as an integral part of combat has now taken on new form.
As I wait to say my last goodbye.
These are the Psywar soldiers.
There we are. Hello, guys, and welcome to Caught Up. This is episode 28, and everything is bullshit. It's the name of the episode. It was a fine way to use a thumbnail that I had, and everything that's been going on for the last couple weeks. It's everything's bullshit, right? So, yeah, man, I want to get into a little bit of that stuff, and I want to get into a little bit of current events that's occupied the minds, and what happened to Joey, man. All things Harris and Crowdstrike and how it got exposed. That's probably what's most important in the show this evening is about Crowdstrike, because when you find out just exactly how much they're involved in everything, it's pretty scary, man. So, and then new video from Badlands and more. So, plus we're on Rumble Studio Live, trying to make this work. So, guys, look, this is Caught Up is an echo chamber for content creators. Almost all content on this show, Caught Up, is created by citizen journalists. I share content created by citizen journalists who I believe to be the best at finding facts buried deep into the abyss, or outlets who I believe to be best for verifiable information. We have to operate within their system, and we only have the information that they allow us to have. These individuals who nerd out on fact-finding missions and then add their opinion to better inform me to make the best choice for me in this war of narratives is resolute. The information war is a battle for your mind and ultimately compliance. And I'm excited to share the content in hopes that you'll turn off mainstream media, who I believe is just another version of entertainment. So, guys, you can smash that like button. There's a chat going. How you doing, Real Ed Reno? What is going on? We would like to have more people in the chat. Would be great. But since we don't, then guess what? I get to do a campaign. It's pretty cool. Let's try this real quick. Let's accept. Start. All right. It's time to say goodbye to Starbucks and say hello to Rumble 1775 coffee. Unlike other brands, this coffee This is a coffee that backs free speech and is unapologetic about it. Visit 1775.com. Use the promo code Studio40 to get 40% off of any coffee subscription. The coffee comes in medium and dark roast. It also comes in peaberry, which is similar to Kona coffee. And in other words, this stuff is premium. Click the link in the live chat or the description, and you can also go directly to 1775coffee.com and use the promo code Studio40 to get 40% off today. That's pretty cool when you get to do those kinds of things. And I got to do those kinds of things. Without coffee, he'd be a felon. Well, I have to get up to coffee too, so I kind of understand how that all operates there, guys. And man, so a lot going on. The last couple weeks have been well, we just say you go all the way back to the debate with Biden. Where are we at in this narrative war? All these things that have happened, these things that have been exposed. And if you know me and you've been watching any of my shows, man, I talk about how do you expose a corrupt politician, right? Like one of the most corrupted. What do? You take a 50-year or 46-year politician and you thrust him in the spotlight as we'll just, for game purposes, we'll play it tonight and we'll say that they make him a president. And in doing so, that all the things that could go wrong, that can go wrong, that could go wrong, do go wrong under the guidance of his administration, and the fact that he changes everything with executive orders and changes the landscape of our country, kind of like what a king or a monarch would do way back when, And so how do they make this guy get exposed, or these people within his administration? Because you're trying to collectively get them all in there. I mean, if you look at it, some of these people are dressed up like they are on the Hunger Games. I mean, you got men wearing dresses, you got men wearing makeup, you got men stealing luggage from airport terminals, you got and these are all appointed by Joey, supposedly, if he is to be legitimate and real, which I don't think he is. But with that being said, how do you expose all that? You expose family, you expose, foreign affairs, you expose it all in the 4 years that he is supposedly that gentleman that carries the title as the world's most powerful man. But then there's a line, and that line is the line that he's only allowed to get up to, and then can't cross it. He can't get us in a major war or whatever the case may be. Let's see. How has our sheriff been in office since our junior year of high school, brother? Okay, not to get off subject. I agree with that, and that's for another day. But career politicians, as I said, how do they expose that? So family, this, that, and the other. And then when the guy turns, like during the debate, doesn't necessarily do all the things that the master of puppets is requiring of him. He's just a little marionette like guy, and so, and in doing so, they want him to step down. So he's finally being exposed now by the media, his party, and all these things. And today's July 23rd, and we now know that he has dropped out of the presidential race and he has disappeared, except for a phone call, unless something's happened in the last 12 hours. They've exposed him. They put him and his administration, those people, in the limelight, right? And by doing so, it exposed him. Well, if to be real and duly elected, that would require our elections to be different. You know what I mean? It would be, 1-day elections, paper ballot, ID, legal citizen within your district. That's how that would all work. But not to get off subject there. So the last, 3 weeks since the debate. Interesting. Attempted assassination of Donald J. Trump. Yeah. Then the removal of Biden. He steps down and then endorses Harris. And what struck it odd to me is that he stepped down and in doing so, what kind of deals did he make behind the scenes? Because this kind of was a prolonged thing. I think they saw this coming. Well, we all saw this coming. As you're going to see as the show goes on, it's not just going to be me running my mouth completely. But what kind of deals did he make? To make sure that, well, we know he has presidential immunity on official acts, and everything that Joey did, Joey the Sponge, was official. So he's going to be immune to all that. He's not getting in trouble, but he's going to make sure his boy Hunter. What about his brother? What about Jill? Anybody think about Jill? What if he made these backroom deals to ensure that all of his members of his family they'd be safe when he decided to step down, because he didn't want to. He didn't want to, right? And so he makes all these deals, right? And we hear, is he dead or is he alive? Official phone call, proof of life, this, that, and the other. And I'll just sum it all up. They exposed Joey Biden and his family for all of his corruptness. And while that man may never be charged for anything, he won't walk down the street ever again. Never shop in a public store ever again. He may pop into a restaurant from time to time if he's even alive or coherent, but yeah, he's not going to. Hunter, we'll see what happens over time with him. Will he be able to show his mug? Who knows? What about the Biden family? His brother and the rest of them. That's all yet to be determined. But it's a good topic to talk about. And then now Harris. So Harris becomes the front runner. Apparently the DNC. She got the delegates. And so here she is. We've talked about this before. We'll play in this party, right? Biden, Harris. Harris is even worse. That's like, I mean, you ought to take a drink on that right there, right? So we got Harris that's involved in this, who's worse than Joe Biden, who they're both just absolutely a disgrace to begin with. And then she got to come up with a running mate, right? So I've been believing it might be Hillary, for the longest time. And there's reasons why. And I'm not the only one. There's a lot of other people out there that say the same thing, but they got to have somebody in there that's what they would think that was popular maybe for their party, I mean, they didn't help her in 2016. I'm just not so sure they're going to help her this time, but who knows? But if we game theory some of this Kamala Harris and then whoever's next, Clinton, Newsom, Whitmer, Mike Obama. I mean, who knows? But it's fun to play with and figure it out, right? Because their parties in such disarray. They've attacked each other. They've devoured each other. They've done all these things, they just kind of eat themselves alive while we sit back and watch them destroy themselves. We're just allowing it to happen. We'll just let it happen. We just watch the movie, right? Because I believe it's already been determined. So let's just let it play out. And if I believe that the Patriots are in control, and I do believe that they are, then this works out in our favor for the first time in a long time, like over 100 years or more, right? The tide has changed. People are awake, more so awake now than they were. Trump is a human again. right? You know, he got the assassination attempt. He's human again to people who didn't much care for him before. So, well, the Democratic Uniparty deep states killing themselves. They're doing the same thing that we're doing. They're trying to figure out what their next play is. They're watching what's going on. They're trying to figure out who's got control of the narrative. And I kind of believe that we got control of the narrative. When I say we, the Patriots, Donald Trump, it's possible. So, yeah, let's get into some of this right here, right? Let's go back a little bit to this right here. Biden says he's determined to stay in the race. We're going to make sure. Okay, so we can. He says, I believe I'm the best qualified to govern, and I think I'm the best qualified to win. And when was this? Oh, this is at the NATO summit, right? So what was 7/13? So Biden stated his much anticipated press conference on July 11th that he's the best candidate to win the 2024 presidential election. I don't think so. Today is the 23rd of July. Where are we at? How do we know the future to be true? Well, we know, right? Guys, I forgot to mention, if you hadn't seen it yet, the People on the Porch, I did it live. And well, I was born in 1974, and the technology that I got is 2020 and greater, some of it even 2024. Some of the video came out like it was 1984, which was amazing because, you know, when it's live, that's the kind of stuff that happens, right? So I had a fancy gimbal and all that kind of stuff, and the phone is not the ideal piece of equipment to be recording that kind of stuff. So in the future, because there is going to be a future with me and doing things with People on the Porch and stuff like that, I'm going to invest in some things to make that better so that it doesn't look like 1984 recording while we're watching it live in 2024, right? So may get the opportunity to do a little bit of like a documenting some things, you know, carrying on that kind of stuff, you know, some history just in case they become like super famous, you know, and then, you know, I get to throw it all together on this cheesy little app and become famous, right? Anyway, but I want to do a better job. Not that it was a bad job for a first time doing something like that. First time bringing everything, trying to set up. I brought a drone and everything. I just couldn't do it all by myself. I couldn't fly the drone and watch, record and gimbal the phone. But I'll do much better the next go around because you learn from what you do, right? And so for me, it was cool. I had a great time. So anyway, back to what we was talking about. Biden said he was best candidate for the show. Remember, we're in a show. So, oh no. Okay. Okay, right here. CNN Scott's Jennings rips Democrats. Party of Democracy is now organizing a coup against the sitting president, right? So this is July 20th, 9:40 p.m. And this gentleman, let's just let him talk, right?
His ticket.
I feel like I need to take up for the president here.
Yes.
Because he won millions upon millions of votes
Yes, he did.
to earn the Democratic nomination. And I just find it delicious that the Party of Democracy is now organizing a coup against the sitting president of the United
It's
States.
very telling that that is
crazy.
the talking point, though, from Republicans.
Yeah,
that
it's
they are
crazy.
sticking up for the, you know, the democratic process,
Of
or
course.
the right of voters to. But they want Joe Biden in this race. The
Of
Trump
course.
campaign wants Joe Biden in this.
Yeah,
race.
despite what every time Karen and I are on TV, she says, "Well, I heard this was getting 5 points for Joe, but if everything you said was true, he'd be ahead 100-0." I mean, why is Donald Trump winning? Because Joe Biden has a terrible, terrible approval rating, A. So the results of the presidency are already, people lost confidence in that. And B, now everybody knows he's not even capable of being president today, let alone for 4 more years. No Project 2025 malarkey is going to change any of that. The contours of the race are set. A failed president and someone who's not fit for the job, that's why Trump is.
But the extreme. So yeah, what do you think about that? That's CNN. That's them talking about their champion. I mean, that's amazing that he even brought up Project 2025. I mean, I had never heard of it. I mean, maybe some have. I don't know. I didn't get into some of that stuff, you know. But the fact that they said it, but it's amazing what he says. I mean, I like that right there. You know, I really do. Let's go on to the next thing. Oh, wait a second here. Wait a second here. Okay, so I got this video. Badlands. And to play it, we may have to do it this way though. Let me take myself out of this. Okay, enjoy the video, okay?
They literally tried assassinating the president, and this is something I think we all need to be cognizant of. They tried shooting President Trump, like the biggest threat to them that there's ever been, arguably. I think they're going to try stealing an election. Like it's a no-brainer now. If they're willing to try to kill him, they're obviously going to try to steal the election from him. So our job here, our focus, and what we need to unite around is making sure that they cannot get away with it. We cannot let that happen. We need to like metaphorically burn this shit to the ground at this point. And I think it starts with exposing the mainstream media because they are the reason for this. Like they are the enemy of the people. Like Trump said, they lied about the Russia hoax, the impeachment. They basically called us all Nazis. They lied about the election. They lied about J6. They basically made Trump criminal and threw the entire book at him. They lied about everything. We need to become the news now. And that's all of us. We need to unite around exposing every single one of their lies from here on out. This shot at Trump, it is basically drafting guys into the narrative war. It's no longer acceptable for people to be apathetic themselves or to allow their friends and family to be apathetic either. This is the time right now where we need to peacefully and patriotically make our voices be heard and not allow these people to get away with any more of this bullshit. Like it's done. You need to get on social media. You need to get your ass in this thing and start turning the tides in there. Like we can't allow it to stand any longer.
Pretty good video, man. Badlands is getting better at that. I think is it Green Star is his name. That's a great video right there, guys. Love Badlands Media for sure. You know what I mean? So you say, Ed, I think Harris is next on the rack. She can't pull it off either. We're going to get to that. I don't know that she's definitely next on the rack. Can she pull it off? We're going to get into that a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm excited I'm very excited about, yeah, this is for sure. So, hang on. Oh no. All right. Let's see. That was that one. So, okay. I know, guys. Give me a second. I got a new one. This is Patrick Gunnels. This is Patrick Gunnels, and just listen. They're great.
I'll just say it. We've had to go from things that seemed basic, blatantly obvious to me and to you years and years ago. So when John Harold kind of took the ball from Thomas Richter, who first postulated the devolution hypothesis, and then John went pro with it by actually analyzing all of the executive orders of national security, presidential memoranda, and staff choices, and the actions, and all the things that go into the concept of continuity of government. If you look at it through that light, things become very clear. And yet we've had to sit here for 4 years while the voices on the right who matter, the ones who actually have platforms, have said over and over again, there's a theory out there that says that you know, quote unquote, Donald Trump is still president, which is not what the hypothesis even postulates. But Donald Trump's still president. I don't know what you guys are smoking. You people are absolutely crazy. You're ruining our movement, et cetera, et cetera. But our filter is the only one that actually makes accurate predictions. What we're witnessing right now, filtered through the devolution filter, makes perfect sense.
Is there an echo, guys? Maybe I need to turn the mic. I don't know. Seems like I thought I heard an echo. Anyway, Patrick Gunnels was basically talking about how we are those people now. You know what I mean? So getting a lot of echo. Yeah. Okay. I'll try to figure it out here real quick, like, so while we're doing it. Huh. What was he saying? Oh, okay. So Patrick Gunnels talking about devolution. The devolution.link, the thing that I share that belongs to Patel Patriot, which is from Badlands and all that, that how we believe that this is all through the lens of that to some degree. And so he was explaining that. Let's see what I got one from Chris Paul too. Let me see about the echo. We get rid of the echo this way. Hang
So for the last 3.5 years, for instance, I have been living in the future, and you have been living in the future, and our audience has been living in the future relative to all of these people calling Joe Biden president and believing that he won an election in 2020. That is an informational past that they will soon come to understand, and they will immediately realize that every ounce of thinking they have done related to Joe Biden's presidency in American politics was based on a foundational lie and falsehood. And so that's the problem I think that we can resolve by examining the way these things change over time. And
whether or not we're able to cure the problem, we can at least understand the mechanics of it.
I got to remember that about being muted. But that there was no echo there that time. And Chris Paul's amazing in his statements and how he sounds eloquent. Yeah, I know. He sounds eloquent in how he says things. I know, Ed. I fixed the mute, man. Hang on 1 second. So we're gonna do the Chris Paul or the Patrick Gunnels one, where he explains how devolution is used as a filter through the lens. So hang on.
I'll just say it. We've had to go from things that seemed basic, blatantly obvious to me and to you years and years ago. So when John Harold kind of took the ball from Thomas Wichter, who first postulated the devolution hypothesis, and then John went pro with it by actually analyzing all of the executive orders and national security presidential memoranda and the staffing choices and the actions and all the things that go into the concept of continuity of government. If you look at it through that light, things become very clear. And yet we've had to sit here for 4 years while the voices on the right who matter, the ones who actually have platforms, have said over and over again, there's a theory out there that says that you know, quote unquote, Donald Trump is still president, which is not what the hypothesis even postulates. But that Donald Trump is still president, I don't know what you guys are smoking. You people are absolutely crazy. You're ruining our movement, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. But our filter is the only one that actually makes accurate predictions. What we're witnessing right now, filtered through the devolution filter, makes perfect sense.
Okay, I know you heard that better. Makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. The way Patrick Gunnels makes that appear and sound, you know what I mean? Yeah, we're about to watch it all unfold, guys. So I think that, okay, all right. So, okay, I think we are about to watch it all unfold. You're absolutely correct. So we did John Harold's video. We did Patrick Gunnels twice because the first one echoed. Now Chris Paul's. Now we have this one, guys, right here, I think is going to impress. They're characters. You can understand that. Oh, puppet. That was Joe the puppet. You see that? Joe Puppet. Been a puppet. Master of puppets. Pulling your strings. Twisting your mind. Smashing your dreams. Blinded by me, you can't see a thing. Just call my name because I'll hear your scream. Master. And that's what we've been watching unfold for a long time, and it's just not getting any attention quite the same way as it was before, right? Amazing. Amazing. All right, guys. Hang on, we're going to review a new campaign here because I like Rumble. All right, man. Make sure to download the Rumble app if you don't have it, ladies and gentlemen. Once you download it, search it for my channel and follow the channel directly on the app. This will make sure that you get notification every time we go live. Click the link in the description or pinned live chat to download the Rumble app on your phone. It's free. If you prefer to watch us on the big screen, it's also available for Apple TV, Android TV, Fire TV, Roku, LG, and Samsung TVs. All you need to do is search for Rumble and see Rumble Studios, Rumble the app. That's where it's at. All right, we're back to what we used to do. Okay, guys, so let's get into some presentation here. Yeah, the whole Master of Puppets album that's true. I don't know where that came from, guys. Sorry about that. Let's do this right here. Boink. Look at that. She's running. Hillary Clinton floated as Biden's replacement amid Democrat turmoil. Well, we know that she's not Biden's replacement, don't we? We know that they've endorsed Kamala Harris. And so that's why I think she's going to be the VP choice, right? Says Biden's currently fuming at his Rehoboth Beach house as Democrats plan a coup against him with rumors of an open convention. You want to know what gets me? It's funny that this word coup is finally coming out in a way that wasn't the same as it was before. Coup. The DNC is holding a coup against the sitting president. A coup. The coup was in 2020. Right? Can you believe that? Of course you can believe that. You guys are smart. How do I know that you're smart? Because there's a bunch of you watching. That's how I know. Look at this. This is the Hill. Look, guys. I like to show you both sides of the coin. So I got Epoch and Gateway and Badlands and then Resolute Exposure. We got all that going on, and then so I show you the Hill, and I show you CNN. It's an echo chamber. Look, what's it say? Ready for round 2. Why we need Hillary more than ever. 7/20/24 at 7 a.m. It's an opinion piece. Doesn't matter. But who? The strongest argument against replacing that dude Joe Biden in 24? The nominee notion the suitable successor exists. Hillary Rodham Clinton. Now, that's a game that I love right there. I'm willing to. I can't even. For what feels like a longer 2 weeks, we've publicly and endlessly debated about Biden's candidacy. Democrats have reportedly called on him to make a decision, and it is damaging, divisive, and only serves to further improve our champion Donald Trump's chances. And I ferociously defended Biden. Oh my God, look at the big words they're using, ladies and gentlemen. Ferociously defended Biden in the past and demanded that the Democrats fall in line behind our guy. Whatever. He was our guy. Biden was our guy. What's it say? Critics will be quick to point out the 2016 controversies, the emails and the cleared of all charges and Donald Trump and whatever else. And you guys can find this. You can go look it up for yourself. This garbage. Why we need Hillary now more than ever. Why we need Hillary now more than ever. That ladies and gentlemen, is amazing. They're scared. They're absolutely scared. But then I'm just crazy. You just a crazy trucker? My bad. And it's justice for all playing out. Master of Puppets started on 9/11. You know, we could break a lot of this down to stuff like that, like songs, War Pigs, right? I mean, how many, with, Black Sabbath, War Pigs, we got that right there. We could break it down with that. Let's see. The attempted assassination of Donald Trump. We could make that out of a movie, and what would that movie? The Matrix. What had happened to Neo before he became the guy, the chosen one? What did he have to do? Yep. Go down and come back. Right. Let's see what else. Harry Potter, the Horcrux. I mean, look at all those things. We could just take that. You know what I mean? What is it? The Hobbit. We could add everything and make these scenarios like that. And that's exactly what they want us to do, right? But then again, I'm just a crazy carpenter, right? So, yeah, I mean, but I am an echo chamber. I am at least trying to get out the information that I believe to be verifiable and the people that I think nerd out the hardest. And then I do a little bit of research and I try to play in the game and, that kind of thing. And so here we are. Appreciate that. So let's see. Okay. So far we've talked about where's Joe Biden? The CIA recording studio in California, brother. Anything from the Beach Boys to Limp Bizkit. I believe that, man. Hollywood is nowhere near the same way as it was when we were growing up. It's just, look, guys, if we talk about the things that our president Donald J. Trump has exposed, so you got the executive, the judicial, and the legislative branches of the government. Then you got the fourth branch, which is the NGOs, the non-governmental organizations, and like the three-letter agencies, the FBI, the CIA, Department of Justice, Department of Defense, all these things, right? So you got all those things, right? All been exposed, right? Now the Secret Service, there's shit that happened just not long ago. They've been exposed, right? Then you got Kamala Harris. So either you are trying to further destroy the Democratic Uniparty, this, that, and the other, and all of its characters, the administrations from the Obamas, the Clintons, and now Biden, and you put them all together with the Harrises, and then you expose them over the next 5 days before the election. Is that what's going on? Do you think Harris would put herself out like that? Is that what's going on? See, that excites me. That's the game theory in right here. You know what I mean? Where you get so if Harris doesn't pick Clinton, then what if Harris picks Whitmer? Whitmer's evil. Look what she did in the state of Michigan. It's gonna be hard nosed, right? I mean, hard nosed, right? What about Gavin Newsom? Gavin Newsom. What'd that dude do? He sent out teams people that gave you renewed driver's license to hand out tickets to make sure that you was eating your mask outside at a table. Oh, excuse me. Eating with your mask on while you was outside at a table. You got fined. The restaurant got fined. So these people, right? These people. Who do they really work for? Not the people. They don't. They, right? So what's game theory that, right? So we got Kamala Harris, who has now been endorsed by the DNC. Was that a virtual DNC? I paid no attention to the dumbass national convention, just to be honest with you. That's what it stands for, right? Or Deep State National Convention. DNC, right? Determined not to care. Yeah, anyway. So let's see what some of my favorite peeps have to say about this Harris individual. I think you guys are going to like it. Enjoy it. Oh, hang on one second. Okay, I'll see you in a minute. I got to mute and I'm going to take myself off camera. Enjoy it. It's Burning Bright and Just Human, I believe, from their show Defected. They do a brilliant job.
I completely agree with you that is the play that I expect them to go for broke, but I want to make an argument for them not going for broke real quick and why you should just burn the ship down. Okay? And you should put everybody that you don't like and that's toxic on the ship. I think that it's possible they know, and Catherine Herridge hinted at this today, you have more indictments coming from Special Counsel Weiss, if not other people, against the Biden crime family. So tying them up and sinking them and everybody associated with them is probably a pretty good idea. So anybody that you think might go down with the Bidens, put them all on the same ship. Anybody from his admin or his campaign or his network that you can get onto that ship and somehow get them distanced from where you're going with the party over the next 4 years, do that. Clinton, we know for a fact that Durham walked down the road towards the DNC and Amanda Renteria and the George Soros Foundation during his investigation. We know for a fact he did. We also know he impaneled grand juries that issued subpoenas to get testimony and documents from the George Soros Foundation regarding Amanda Renteria and the DNC, okay? And Hillary Clinton, the HR, and her campaign.
Clinton Foundation.
And yet, none of that is mentioned in the Durham report. So that's
because he didn't do anything, Kyle.
So you have to ask, did Durham walk down that path toward that very, very, very spicy area of inquiry, going so far as to impanel more than one grand jury, it sounds like, but at least one, to issue subpoenas to get testimony and evidence, documents, I should say, and then turn around and say, whatever? Or did it develop into something and get handed off, or is it sitting sealed somewhere? If either the latter are true, it would make all the sense in the world to put as many Clinton people and Hillary Clinton herself onto this ticket, onto that Pyrrhic boat ride. So that could explain some motivation that you see to put Hillary and pair her with Harris. There's all these Biden people and all these people that are going down because you know they have future indictments, or you know that they've people around them have been subpoenaed. Like, all these people talk, like, it's not like you can issue subpoenas to the deep state players and then not notify each other that, hey, my accountant has been interviewed by prosecutors in the SDNY 5 times this year, or my caddy, or my limo driver, or my security head, or like, once this starts happening, they start realizing that the hands of justice are prodding their deep state and are looking for a way to get a grip onto it, right? And so I think there's an awareness there. There has to be by now. I think they know what we know. That's the thing sometimes you forget this, and I brought it up on the show before. You forget that the enemy, the deep state, is just as aware of the Q drops and what Trump's doing as you are, and more.
Right.
So
because they know the actuals underneath.
Because they know the actual.
Trying to dig on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're from that position, if you're a member of the deep state and you want to survive for another 10 years and retain some power, put everybody who's going to go down over the next 10 years on the same boat and let them all go down together. And then you and John Fetterman, I guess, you and John Fetterman can try and build something up. I don't know. Like, it seems like John Fetterman is about the only guy who's trying not to go down with the ship lately, which is kind of remarkable in and of itself. But I think you can make that argument, and this is bicameral. This is 100% bicameral. Of course, we're going to land on that. That I think you can build up that scenario and make it make logical sense either way. Going for broke or abandon this, put all of the people who are going to go down anyway, let them go down together and separate from those of us who are going to hold on to our money and our power and try and remain in the game. So
I think
Burning bright, man. He says it right there. Group them all together, put them on the same ship, like a Titanic, and then let it sink. And then we get rid of all the deep state and the uniparty all together in the same ship as it all goes down. That's what I'm talking about, the game theory thing. You see how he added Hillary Clinton into that to demonstrate that if we're going to finish off exposing these career politicians, these corrupt people, these people that have nothing to do with we the people, now is the time, right? Or what's the other side of that coin there? Do they try to put in their best, see if they can truly outbeat Trump, maybe cheat a little bit more, maybe try to stop some of this exposure as the Democratic Party? It right now it's like that rocket that went way the hell up in the air and then it lost its power. It's kind of fizzing. And then all of a sudden it stopped and here it's starting to drop. And that's where they're going. They're in really fast. Ever since, look, a lot of us been knowing this for a long, long time. It's not new to us, to some of us. But there's a lot of people that are just now waking up to what's going on. There's a lot of people that woke up when they saw Trump's attempted assassination because that made him human. There's a lot of people that woke up when they realized that Biden had just give up his ticket and handed it off to Kamala Harris and then disappeared. People are asking questions. I don't know if you're at work or whatever. Is he alive? Is he dead? No one's seen him. All these things. All this stuff is part of an exposure phase. It's a part of what we believe that runs through the filter of devolution. John Harold's great work, devolution.link. I've had many of them on here. You can see that. So, thank you, man. I try to work in the facts that I think are correct. And then I leave the links in the description, guys. So most of all this that we're talking about right now, you can find all of that in the description for the most part. People on the porch, all their music there, their Instagram accounts, whatever the case may be, devolution.link, Patel Patriot, let's see what else. I'm your moderator, Chris Paul, Burning Bright, Just Human, Gateway Pundit, Epoch Times. I didn't add The Hill. I forgot that they were on here. But if you want to go, you can find it yourself. You know what I mean? And these are articles with some are opinion, some are not. But a lot of the ones that are fact-based, they take you to the links because when this shit gets open sourced and they allow the public to go through it, like a fine-tooth comb, it's we the people. It's the patriots. It's people like me and the Patel Patriot and the Badlands Medias and everybody else out there. You know, the people that are on Facebook that are still posting, you know, the Twitter world, the X world, the truth world, wherever it's going to be, you know what I mean? They're all out there doing the same thing. And if we're all an echo chamber, we're repeating this over and over and over again, till we get it through. Some of this stuff is now not getting it through to anybody. They're actually coming to me, and maybe they're coming to you going, maybe some of the things you've been saying has more truth to it than not now that I have seen what's happened since the Joe Biden debate. And I'm like, it's been an exposure phase, brothers and sisters, and we're living in a great time, and I love it, right? So let's go see what Burning Bright's got to say about his position on Harris ticket with Hillary or Whitmer or Newsom or whoever it may or may not be, you know. So, yeah. Wait a second. Okay. I'll see you guys in a second.
You're going down with the ship or putting all the rats on the sinking ship version would look like throwing a Clinton in there, throwing a Newsom in there, getting all these people in there, right? Which also could be what they would do with an all-in approach, which is why you might not really know what the intent is behind the people putting them out there. And here's the really fun way to think about this. They're having these conversations too.
Yeah.
Right? Like, for example, I really believe right now that Kamala Harris, I think that the reason she's been this is just my conjecture, but it's now being bolstered by the sinking ship thing you're bringing up. The media and supposedly the deep state establishment have been very frustrated. We had this big call making the news even this morning about donors with Kamala Harris being really frustrated with her because she wasn't jumping on either side of the fence. Basically, she wouldn't pick a lane, according to the establishment media. Now, we can go bicameral with Kamala Harris. We can say she didn't pick a lane before right now because she knew this was coming. That's entirely reasonable to suggest that.
Okay.
She knew that Joe was going to drop down. She was the presumptive nominee in his place, and she didn't want to make too many statements before that happened to put herself on either side of that. That, I think, makes total sense. But here's another way of looking at it. When you're talking about sacrificial lambs in the deep state, was Kamala worried about putting her name in as the candidate because she knows that's what's going on?
That's what I think.
She knows that they're trying to sacrifice. They're trying to make sacrifices, and she's a name they want to burn, and she doesn't want to be at the top of that ticket. Because also, if one more funny point here, let's say Hillary Clinton is the VP candidate. Do you want to be the presidential candidate on a ticket with Hillary Clinton? And I'm not talking about risks of losing an election. I'm talking about if you're the presidential candidate, do you think that Hillary Clinton wants to be the VP candidate? Or do you think she wants to be in your position?
Did you hear what he said? You're the VP candidate, Hillary Clinton. What position does she want to be in? I can tell you it is not the position of VP, right? All right, guys. Let's see, 1 second here. Okay. So, well, we've had fun talking about Joe. Is he dead or alive? Is he real? Is he fake? Is he a puppet? We obviously know he's a puppet. He's been exposed, all of his crime, his family. They'll never be the same. They'll be immune. Now to walk down the street, this, that, and the other. We obviously know. We know about Joe and his family. And then Harris, who's far worse as far as the candidate to be running. They could have found a better one, but in such short notice. Oh, it's just so perfectly brilliant how all these things worked out the way that they have. The exposure stage over the last 9 years, ladies and gentlemen, if you go all the way back to when Trump came down the elevator, from that point on. Now, it goes back way further than that with Obamas and the Bushes and the Clintons and all that good stuff like that, but woke a lot of people up since the end of the Obama era, the beginning of the Trump administration. So which I'd rather chew off my own pinky than cross a Clinton. I don't want to be buried in a cotton field in Arkansas. There's a lot of truth in that statement right there. I mean, yeah, you don't cross them. You don't cross them that way, do you? Because they find ways to delete you, according to popular mainstream media outlets, right? So, Crowdstrike, ladies and gentlemen. I did a episode on CISA, CISA, which is watch me get this wrong. Infrastructure Security, Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA. And CISA is in control of a lot of things. If you had watched the show, you would know the newest part of it was the Scott Key Bridge, pipelines, all kinds of things that went wrong not long after the Joey administration put CISA in charge of it. And, they just seem to mess everything up every time they get their hands on that kind of technology. But guess who's running it in the background? Crowdstrike. And what happened same weekend, I believe it was the attempted assassination. What else was exposed, folks? Crowdstrike. Why was Crowdstrike allowed to be exposed? Well, there's many, many theories out there. And if you're a conspiracy theorist, which is probably more truth than not, Crowdstrike's been around for a little while. And they got their dirty little paws and everything, right? So we know, or I know, or there may be some of you that know, that Trump exposed CrowdStrike, and Fox and them, they thought he was kind of a Looney Tune, but he was president at the time. So things went down, and you just got to see this right here, real quick. Here we go.
Hillary Clinton paid for it, and the Democrats. A lot of it had to do, they say, with Ukraine.
But Mr.
President, it's
President,
very interesting. It's very interesting. They have the server, right, from the DNC, Democratic National Committee.
Who has the server?
Now, the FBI went in and they told him, "Get out of here. You're not kidding. We're not giving it to you." They gave the server to Crowdstrike, or whatever it's called, which is a company owned by a very wealthy Ukrainian. And I still want to see that server. You know, the FBI has never gotten that server. That's a big part of this whole thing. Why did they give it to a Ukrainian company?
are you sure they did that? Are you sure they gave it to Ukraine?
Well, that's what the word is. And that's what I asked actually on my phone call, if you know.
Right.
I mean, I asked it very point blank because we're looking for corruption. There's tremendous corruption. We're looking for, why should we be giving hundreds of millions of dollars to countries when there's this kind of corruption? Hillary.
So, the most knowledgeable man in the world, you have to be an idiot not to think that Donald Trump or any other president of the United States doesn't have access to information that the rest of us have. You'd have to be a fool. No offense, not trying to offend anybody. Retarded, whatever the word is that you want to put in place for. But that's what you'd have to be to not understand. So when he gets on Fox and Friends, and you saw the three little yuppies there, didn't you? All three of them. How you know that? How you know that? Trump told you the truth. told you the truth from day one because you know why? He's not a politician, first of all. He was an entertainment guy. He was in the media. He had all kinds of friends. All these people that hate him, you know, the Robert De Niro's and the Madonnas, they all loved him. Oprah Winfrey loved him. And they hate him now. Why? Because he went against their fucking narratives. That's why. They didn't agree with anything that he was talking about. They don't like the idea about the MAGA first, make America great again, or America first programs, those kinds of things, right? But he comes out and he tells them, why did they give the server to CrowdStrike? Why was Hillary Clinton allowed to make those kinds of decisions, right? See, that's why she needs to be VP, runner up. The rest of this story gets unraveled and unfolded, and we all see how it becomes non-conspiracy, but absolute fact. They're all owned. They're all owned. No, it gets better. Absolutely gets better. So, what happened? What happened the weekend that CrowdStrike? What are they involved in? Airports, banking, internet, hospitals. Shall we whisper? Shall we whisper? See, just a second.
Is it that one single software bug can have such a profound and immediate impact?
Well, when you look at the complexity of cybersecurity, you're always trying to stay one step ahead of the adversaries. Excuse me. Man, just 1 second, please.
Oh yeah, but take a drink of water.
Yeah.
You know who that guy was? The owner of CrowdStrike, being interviewed by, you know, our favorite little mainstream media show. Take a drink of water. Got his hair like Howard the Duck. This gentleman affected a lot of the world, not just the United States, the world. CrowdStrike. Hang on. See what we got here. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen. What's that say? Federal program offers new cybersecurity tool for elections. Whoa. Okay. Atlanta. State and local officials are receiving additional tools from the federal government to help defend the nation's election system from cyber threats. Hang on. Cyber threats ahead of the November vote, as intelligence officials continue to warn about foreign efforts to interfere in the U.S. elections. Under a $2.2 million pilot program that began in March, the Department of Homeland Security's cybersecurity agency, in partnership with the Center for Internet Security, the CIS, has been deploying software to election offices. It is then placed on devices, including laptops, servers used for voter registration and reporting vote totals to detect the malicious activity. The program was highlighted during a congressional hearing Thursday. You see that? How about this one? CIS. Would we say CIS was? Center for Internet Security, CIS. This article, wait a second, when was this article? This article was August 4th, 2020. When were our elections, ladies and gentlemen? November 4th, 2020. CISA. Crowdstrike. Center for Internet Security. Would you say Zelensky said today he'd work with Trump? Whatever that may mean. Yep. Of course he's going to work with Trump. All right. CIS partners with CrowdStrike, who is CIS, Center for Internet Security. CIS partners with CrowdStrike on cybersecurity platforms protecting local governments. Look at that. CIS has been working for years to democratize cybersecurity protection through a variety of programs that provide free or low-cost tools to hospitals, schools, and more. The new CIS Endpoint Security Services, ESS platform, which is backed by CrowdStrike's tools, is built to identify, detect, and respond to security alerts from local governments, meaning state, city, and county municipalities, right? What is it? Through CrowdStrike's Falcon system, the company will offer ESS users deployment onto endpoint devices. Ladies and gentlemen, this part has to do with hospitals and schools. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Look here. What's that say? March 10th, 2021. December 23rd, 2022. Foreign threats to the 2020 U.S. federal elections. For the purpose of assessments, elections influence includes overt and covert efforts by foreign governments or actors acting as agents of or on behalf of foreign governments intended to affect directly or indirectly a U.S. election, including candidates, political parties, voters of their preferences, or political processes. Election interference is a subset of election influence activities targeted at the technical aspects of the election, including voter registration, casting and counting ballots, and reporting results, right? Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't understand about characters being cast and this, that, and the other, right here, for the purpose of this assessment, election influence includes overt and covert efforts by foreign governments or actors acting as agents of or on behalf of. Does that make any sense? How much of that's going on in our country? All right, over here, this one right here. Foreign threats to the 2022 U.S. election. It says 2022, the IC updated its lexicon for foreign malign influence. The IC is the international community, or I believe, I might be wrong, guys. intelligence, my bad, not international. The intelligence community, the IC, update its lessons for foreign malign influencers to ensure a common reference guide of country agnostics terms on this topic. These definitions share some similarities but are not identical to the definitions of foreign interference outlined in the Executive Order 13848 that defines which the definition was inclusive of election interference and election influence. For the purpose of this matter, election interference includes efforts aimed at degrading or disrupting targets' ability to hold elections, including by targeting the physical or technical aspects of an election. This includes cyber operations affecting a government's ability to register voters, cast or count ballots, or report results, cyber operations degrading a campaign's ability to participate in an election, cyber or physical operations targeting election officials, poll workers, or poll places, and assassinations or militarily or security interventions affecting an election. All of these things, ladies and gentlemen, so far have happened to our champion, our UFC champion, our fight champion, Donald J. Trump. Can you believe that they added this to the executive order for, if I'm saying this correctly, for foreign threats? Election influence includes covert or overt efforts by foreign governments, non-state actors, or their proxies, specifically intended, directly or indirectly, to affect an election. And guess, ladies and gentlemen, who owns Crowdstrike Holdings? BlackRock, 16.13 million shares, value of that great number. Vanguard, that many shares, that great number. Morgan Stanley, that many shares, and that great number. Genesis Associates LLC, that great number, and that great number. What do you say about that? CrowdStrike, CIS, CISA, all these things are all tied together here, right? But wait, there's more. Like I said, everything that's been happening here lately, the biggest thing next to the assassination, right? The attempted assassination, my bad. Yeah, the big four, exactly. CrowdStrike was exposed. They're involved in the elections, ladies and gentlemen. They're involved in all that. Every bit of it, man. No wonder the dude was choking up when that chick was talking to him. Right? So, let's go right here. Watch this. What's that say? Flashback. CrowdStrike, the company behind the Russia-hacked email scandal that offered no evidence during the investigation, is behind the IT outage that grounded flights across America the day following the RNC. Look at this. Major IT outages, right? Across the world. This just didn't affect the United States, guys. It didn't affect 50 states, a border between two oceans, in two, the Canada and Mexico, right? the world. Crowdstrike brands itself as the first cloud-native platform that protects endpoints and cloud workloads, identity, and data. And everybody knows who they are now. We knew who they were a long time ago. Crowdstrike. We knew who they were 4+ years ago. I knew who they were longer than that. But guess what? The world knows who they are now. The biggest part of America knows who Crowdstrike is now. And what they need to understand is that they are involved in our elections. Hang on. Hang on. Just say, massive IT outages hit major U.S. hospitals. Microsoft CrowdStrike glitch forces cancellation of all elective surgeries and medical procedures. What if that was you or your loved one? Why do we have one company in charge of all of our major infrastructure that has to do with the hospitals? That was a display of how easily they can really mess with your money. Money aside. Honest to God, money aside. Hospitals canceled elective surgeries, flights, surgeries, internet. One company. And who put all these people in place? Deep State, the Uniparty. This is why I'm an echo chamber. This is why I'm sharing this information. This is why we're repeating this. Resolute exposure, determined to tell. I'm resolute. I'm a patriot. I'm not carrying a gun. I ain't whooping someone's ass. I'm trying to get information out there that we can all share, right? I mean, if you think it's time for kinetic war, you're all not where we're at yet, ladies and gentlemen. Not at all. We need to slow those horses down. But we need yelling at each other. Water cooler, at work, at church. Look, if you are one of those people that go, I don't get into politics, ladies and gentlemen, we live it every single day. One man changed the landscape of our country with the stroke of a pen. You think the chicken woke up and said, I want more money for the egg that I lay than what you've been paying me? We can't negotiate with animals that way. According to what I know biblically, I have control over the animal. So how the hell did the prices of eggs go up? The chicken didn't ask for that. The cow didn't ask for the milk to go up, the prices of that, right? You think the oil from the earth, the precious gold that's so-called talked about, decided it wanted a new contract? It was a man that did this. That man does not have that much control over our country. That's what's being exposed. That man. Doesn't matter what their name is. Whatever that man is that's put in that position doesn't have that. And when we get real, true, fair elections, this bullshit, remember? Everything is bullshit. The name of this episode. That's it. Let's see. It says, I think that was a message like something you better. Ed, you just put it out there for real. You just cuss all you want to. It's Rumble. They ain't going to take that down. If you don't get into politics, rest assured the politics will get into you. It's absolute. If you're a Christian going to church saying you ain't playing that game, you're a foolish Christian. I'm sorry. If I've hurt your feelings, I didn't mean to. Get bigger feelings. I'm not trying to offend anybody. We live in a political stage here. This arena is done by narratives, agendas, political thing, lobbying, and who's got more money. Period. Telling you. These things didn't happen because these people, animals, whatever, woke up and decided that they wanted more. They wanted more. No, it was a man. No king, no monarch. We did this shit 200 and some odd years ago. Almost close to 250. What's next on this agenda here? Let's see. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Watch this right here. What's this? See, I have Epoch Times because I'm a paid subscription premium. I went into their archives and wrote in Crowdstrike. And so, what do we get here? Crowdstrike president admits global outage caused disruption and distress. That's in July this year. You're good. Crowdstrike outage impacts on NHS will last for days. Right. July 23rd. Look, House Republicans demand hearing with Crowdstrike CEO to address tech outage. That's today, ladies and gentlemen. This is today. It's yesterday. Right? Most airlines except one are recovering from CrowdStrike tech outage. New York City senior admin official gives update on impact of CrowdStrike outage in city. Delta cancels, delays thousands of flights. It's July 22nd. NHS pharmacies warn of possible delays after global tech outage. I'm just trying to get you guys to see exactly how much this one fucking company is involved in every bit of the infrastructure that's technological that goes on in this country, period. Harris secures enough delegates to become Democratic nominee. Harris possible choice for VP. I don't know what CrowdStrike. Oh, wait, what does it say? What to know and learn. Hackers tracking advantage of CrowdStrike outage. Global computer outage. Delta faces probe of hundreds of flights. Southern California recovering from massive tech outage. Let's go down a little. Oh, what was that? 9/11? Look there. 911 services down in several states. Imagine you had to call. You had a family member, man, it was hurt and it's down and out because CrowdStrike, right? IT outage ends but sparks fear. Australian prime ministers urge people to remain patient. Global IT outage grounds flights. See, let's go a little further. Let me scroll down here some. In final days, Trump give up on forcing release of Russiagate files. What is this? Outrageous reliance on CrowdStrike? Democratic National Committee cyber contractor CrowdStrike? 900-page Senate Russia report included no evidence for how emails were taken, but any machines protected by CrowdStrike Falcon? The likelihood of a hack taking place without CrowdStrike noticing is low. 7 popular therapeutics. Here's how to invest in some of the hottest trends. Alto, Cloudflare, CrowdStrike, Cisco Systems. Transcripts contradict Comey's claim that the DNC denied FBI access to servers. Perkins Coie contracted CrowdStrike to assess and remedy the breach for the DMC. Sean Henry, the president of CrowdStrike Services. Perkins Coie was hired by the Clinton administration. See, look here, December 11th, 2020. FBI has files from laptop of slain DN staffer Seth Rich. Firm investigating the DNC situation, CrowdStrike. Are you all seeing this? I mean, the common denominator. Look, Butowski Couch retracted claims about late DNC staffer Seth Rich. Come on. Senate Intelligence Committee releases final volume of Russia report. August 18th, the cybersecurity firm Crowdstrike. You see? Covering their asses, exactly. Most of the population has no idea, but they do now. They understand a little bit more about CrowdStrike today than they did 4 years ago, 8 years ago, 12 years ago. This goes way deeper than the little bit that I was showing you, guys. I mean, I would love, I love this right here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is why I started the podcast, because I wanted people to see those articles. If you pull them up, if you get Epoch Times, you got to pay for that subscription. I'm telling you, they take you to the links from the government information out of the verified information that comes from those. It's amazing. Amazing to me. All right, guys. They want me to do one more campaign. Should I do it? That would be 3. It was never about doing commercials when I started this, but you know, it's been pretty cool. I still know how to collect the money, guys. You know what I mean? Rumble Store. Let's see what this means. Right here. Rumble.store. It says Rumble's exclusive apparel has finally arrived. They're now offering 20% off of all purchases in the Rumble store with the discount code of DROP20. DROP20. Drop and give me 20. If you want to support the brand that is fighting for free speech and fighting for our First Amendment, then this is the best way to do it. They have tees, sweaters, hats, plus much, much more. Go to rumble.store and make sure to enter DROP20 as a promo code to get 20% off of your entire order, ladies. Look at that hat. That hat. And there you have it. Rumble.store. All right, guys, let me see. Let me see. Let me see. I try to see. Okay. I have this setup right here because, you know, because I love my Badlanders. So I got Kyle, Just Human, and Burning Bright. I mean, just a click away. Their opinion on this CrowdStrike right here. Right here. Oh, wait a second, guys. So it's a video. I have to remove myself for a couple minutes and mute. I'll see you in just a second.
But I bring that up to say the battle space in which these concepts are coming back in is so catastrophic for the other side, right? And the CrowdStrike thing, to me, I'd put a couple things out there, and I saw John putting a lot of stuff out about CrowdStrike, the 2020 election. I mean, obviously fantastic callbacks to that stuff, convergence with that. But I had said, this feels like a dry run for Russia, China sort of 2024 election interference. The funny thing is, you can go bicameral with that. You know what I mean by that is you can say, are they trying to print the narrative of vulnerabilities in U.S. critical infrastructure, especially server-based infrastructure? CrowdStrike obviously is connected to our election systems, and say, the headlines right after this targeted attack from the mainstream media, the first question they were all asking CrowdStrike was this an attack by a foreign actor? And CrowdStrike was denying it. Was it China? Was it Russia? CrowdStrike was denying it. But was that narrative seeding for them, right? So let's just say it was. I don't think that that's a bad thing. They're seeding this out here, and what it's doing is, as you led off the topic with, to say it's terrifying to a lot of normies who are not aware, to everybody really, who are not aware of how centralized our critical tech infrastructure and software technology infrastructure is in the United States and in this world. So now that has been seeded. So yes, it could be a dry run for them, for the bad guys, to claim election interference. But either way, let's say they do that. That is not a good thing for them. That is an acceleration into public mandate for decentralization. If they actually try to go forward with this and say, our election systems were hacked, if Donald Trump, the votes are all coming in, Donald Trump, he's going to win in the landslide, election systems are hacked, that's a theory people have put forth of that might be a way that they try to say, we got to evaluate this whole election, we got to pull the plug for right now. That's the sign of a finite player. That's the sign of all you're going to do is you're going to get the bipartisan idea into people's minds. We need a more decentralized open source system that is not vulnerable to this sort of attack. So even if it is deep state fear mongering, that this was a deployment by them, it's going to backfire. Now, the scenario I kind of like more is sort of what you bumped up against there. When you look at these things coming back around and the serendipity with which they're coming back around, is this ghost in the machine saying, hey, did you know, America, that most of your nation's critical infrastructure runs on one server company that just so happened to steal the 2020 election from you? Were you aware of that? Well, now what's top of every American's mind, more so despite what anybody in this community might think, because we are inside baseball in this community. My parents didn't know the name CrowdStrike. None of yours did either, if they're not in this world. None of your neighbors knew it. Nobody down the street knew it. Nobody in the town next door knew it.
That's right.
Almost every American today knows CrowdStrike. And what do they think about the word CrowdStrike? They think vulnerable and or corrupt.
CrowdStrike. They think vulnerable and corrupt. That's what's been exposed. That's what I've been saying. Biden and his family, how do you expose him? You elevate him to a top elected position, president. Not legally. You expose everything around him. Now that he's out, what do you bring in? The other ones, the rest of that deep state administration. So we're going to push them all out. We're going to go for broke. I guess we'll find out when they announce whoever their VP is. CrowdStrike to be involved in all of our critical cyber infrastructure should make you ask a shit ton of questions. Made me. These types of things is what made me make a podcast called Caught Up on a channel called Resolute Exposure. Not that I'm trying to tell on anybody, but trying to tell you what's going on. I think it's pretty damn cool. We live in an interesting age. We live in a good time right now. Amazing things are going on. We have a champion, Donald J. Trump, who they're not going to defeat, who I'm mostly positive that they're going to try to steal the election some way that's going to get them caught. Just one new avenue being exposed after another. And because I really believe that the Patriots are in control and amazing. So let's look. Let me see. I say let's. Me. Right. Okay, guys. I have one. One more video. I'd like to share this in because of my show for this evening. Hang on one second. It's right here. Like to share that right there because everything is bullshit. Exactly right. Did it do it? Certainly did. All right. One more. So one more video before I end the show. I appreciate everybody watching. Let's see. That's the Real Ed Reno. Love the fact that you get in here and interject with me. I wish more people would. Time will tell. Will come. As you see, I got me a new set of earbuds with microphone. It plugs into laptop, which means I'll be able to hear, and we'll get Danny Elson back from People on the Porch to do another show with me, and maybe more. Really liked it, and then, like I said, we'll get out there and do some documentation of their next album. Hopefully, I get invited to some more of that stuff, and get to upgrade my equipment so that the video doesn't look like something like out of 1984 Van Halen, old U812 type thing, you know. But yeah, thank you very, very much for everything. Ed, you seen any Biden signs out there? Any Joe Biden signs anywhere? Billboards? Anything? He's a truck driver, ladies and gentlemen. He crosses the country, distributes food. And so he sees a lot. He sees a lot, you know, coast to coast anyway. Anyway. Let's last video, then we'll end it with People on the Porch. We'll call it a night. Once again, guys, thank you very, very much.
So let's talk about some other conspiracy theories that just so happen to map almost perfectly onto reality all the time for years in a row now, which means it's almost impossible for them to not have anything to them whatsoever. But I know the mainstream media hasn't admitted yet that it's true. And some people out there think it's very, very dangerous. So we're not allowed to talk about it. Otherwise, other people might not do the things that we want them to do. So therefore, it's dangerous that we talk about it at all. And of course, I'm talking about devolution. Now, if you're not familiar with the theory of devolution, you really owe it to yourself to go ahead and learn about it. This is the theory presented and evidenced by my good friend, John Harold, otherwise known as Patel Patriot. You can find all of it at devolution.link. You are probably aware that I am one of the co-hosts of the Saturday night edition of Devolution Power Hour, where we discuss world events through the lens of devolution. And while John would describe it most accurately, I kind of describe it in my own way. And if you're not familiar with it, the short version is essentially that we don't believe there is any way that Donald Trump watched our election be stolen and simply gave up and walked away and left the country to ruin under an illegitimate usurper of a president. And there is some evidence to support that idea. In fact, there is a wealth of evidence to support that idea. and extensive documentation. Now, it's not enough to prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt to the most skeptical people, and that's just fine because nothing in the world actually qualifies under those conditions. It is my personal belief that something else beyond what we are presented by the mainstream media is definitely happening, and that John's theory and the evidence he provides are the best explanation I am aware of. There is absolutely a chance that it might never be proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. It might never be admitted to simply because the existence of this process, if it is real, presents a whole range of new moral and intellectual problems that a great many people are simply not prepared to deal with, including anyone who might be considered a normie. It is also true that many people on our side, and I mean legitimately on our side, think that this entire thing is silly. They think that there is absolutely no way that anything else is going on. But again, I find that idea preposterous. John presents a number of executive orders, a number of actions taken late in the Trump administration that suggests something else is going on, and that his framework is not only entirely plausible, but indeed the best explanation for what is going on behind the scenes. We shall see in the future. Again, personally, I see this devolution operation, to the extent that it is correct and correctly described, as a backstopping. It is not a full control over everything that is happening. It is like a little playpen you might put a toddler in. The toddler is free to do what the toddler wants inside that playpen. They're just not able to get out of it. And this would explain why so often the illegitimate administration looks like it has absolutely no access to intelligence. They have no better an idea of what's happening in the world than the mainstream media tells them. They seem to have virtually no ability to command the military, and beyond their ability to provide public relations for whenever the global regime bankers need to print new fiat money and condition that money printing on the backs of the American workers, they really don't seem to have any other power whatsoever. They can get up on television, tell us what they think, and tell us how they're solving racism and sexism and transphobia and Islamophobia and anti-Semitism and whatever else. They're really not able to get a whole lot done. They have maintained their global money laundering operation, and that is about it. Even when it comes to that stuff, we're talking about debt numbers so high that they will absolutely never be repaid, in addition to the fact that the dollar is meant to collapse as the global regime's fiat bankers attempt to shift the whole world onto their central bank digital currencies.
Chris Paul says it well, and he goes into detail about his opinion on devolution.link, which is something that I do here. And with that, I'm going to let everyone know, I think on Thursday night, I'm going to do devolution.link, but I'm going to do John Harold's version of it, his newest version, where basically starts out the show, allows Patrick Gunnels to read it, interjects from time to time, and that kind of thing. And I'm just going to start the show, say hello in the beginning, and allow it to air, and then say goodbye at the end, just so that it's getting out there, that people can see it for themselves, because it's very, very important. Not that it may all be true or real, but the biggest part of it is absolutely, I believe, to be what's going on, right? So, at Real Ed Reno, I did see the Florida state line says the free state of Florida now, like the free state of Jones. I'm gonna have to get Matthew McConaughey. You're involved. They really got a sign like that says that? If they don't, they do. It's traveling. He knows. He would say that. No Biden signs, huh? That ought to tell you something, guys. I would be surprised. You think they're going to hurry up and make Harris signs? I don't know. I know it is. So, guys, like, follow, share, ups, down, I don't care. Thanks for the chat, Ed. And I'll see you Thursday with the newest version of Devolution. And then my show caught up on Friday to reiterate whatever the hell it was we were talking about tonight. And, get things out there and spread the word. Be an echo chamber. Be resolute. Be determined to tell. Let people know what's going on. Don't be afraid. Stand. That's a way of standing. It's absolutely a way of standing. Absolutely a way of standing. All right, guys. I'm going to end on a video tonight versus playing all the music since it's later than I want it to be. It's 10:53. So I've been on here 2 hours and 6 minutes, right? And I appreciate each and every one of you. Y'all have a good and blessed night. See you soon.
They literally tried assassinating the president. And this is something I think we all need to be cognizant of. They tried shooting President Trump, like the biggest threat to them that there's ever been, arguably. I think they're going to try stealing an election. Like, it's a no-brainer now. If they're willing to try to kill him, they're obviously going to try to steal the election from him. So our job here, our focus, and what we need to unite around is making sure that they cannot get away with it. We cannot let that happen. We need to, like, metaphorically burn this shit to the ground at this point. And I think it starts with exposing the mainstream media, because they are the reason for this. Like, they are the enemy of the people. Like Trump said, they've lied about the Russia hoax, the impeachment. They basically called us all Nazis. They lied about the election. They lied about J6. They basically made Trump a criminal, and threw the entire book at him. They've lied about everything. We need to become the news now, and that's all of us. We need to unite around exposing every single one of their lies from here on out. This shot at Trump is basically drafting you guys into the narrative war. It's no longer acceptable for people to be apathetic themselves, or to allow their friends and family to be apathetic either. This is the time right now where we need to peacefully and patriotically make our voices be heard, and not allow these people to get away with any more of this bullshit. Like, it's done. You need to get on social media. You need to get your ass in this thing and start turning the tides in the narrative war. Like, we can't allow it to stand any longer.
It's always at my back. My back is always strapped with these things that I call my own. Life, it isn't always grand, but when you finally take that stand, you become a man. You needed to become. You meant everything to me. Why you left, I could not see. I guess people just do what they want. Time, it goes faster every day, and my heart, it leads the way. into a memory. Is always at my back. My back is always strapped with these things that I call my